they were coming, they said they were liberators. But when they kill their time, they change their mind. When they kill their time, they change their mind. What kind of people they so?
They are freedom fighters.
What kind of people they so?
They are freedom fighters.
You freedom fighter, you raping our women.
They are freedom fighters.
Freedom fighter, you killing our children.
They are freedom fighters.
Freedom fighter, you destroying our country.
They are freedom fighters.
Ayo, 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 ayo. Ayo, 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 ayo. Ayo, 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 ayo. Ayo, yo, ayo, 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 ayo. When they were coming, they said they were liberators. When they were coming, they said they were liberators. But when they kill their time, they change their mind. When they kill their time, they change their mind. What kind of people they so?
They are freedom fighters.
What kind of people they so?
They are freedom fighters.
You freedom fighter, you raping our women.
They are freedom fighters.
You freedom fighter, you killing our children.
They are freedom fighters.
Freedom fighter, you destroying our country.
They are freedom fighters.
Ayo, 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 ayo.
All right, welcome to the show. Welcome to Talk TV Media Network. Today is the 20th of August, 2022, the 20th of August, 2022. Bringing you some hot topics today for discussion here at Talk TV Media Network. My name is Sam Gadu, CEO, and my colleague out there, co-host in Liberia, Jasper Andrews. Do not touch that dial because today we are here to discuss politics, recap weekly politics of the happenings in Liberia and around the world. We are here to give you factual, unbiased information for your public consumption. This is what we do. This is how we do it. And we do it because of you, because you have our back. So welcome to the show again. My name is Sam Gado. We will be joined later by our colleagues as well, who will give their 1-2-1-2 to all the discussions we have. Happenings weekly, sanctions on Liberian political leaders, sanctions on the George Weah-led government officials, their implications, their impacts. What is the government doing, or what has the government done so far? These are things, these are topics we want to be able to bring to you. But until then, before we do that, we're going to give you a little bit of who we are as a network. Intro. There you go. Here at Talk TV Media Network. We'll join you in 1 minute. All right. Welcome again. Welcome to Talk TV Media Network. You can follow us, join us online on these various platforms: Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We are live simultaneously. So like us share us, subscribe, be a part of this noble network. Again, my name is Sam Gadu. My colleague joining me from Liberia, Jasper F. Andrews. Welcome to the show, Jasper. How are you?
Oh yes, it's my pleasure being on the show today again to discuss critical national issues as it relates to our beloved country, Liberia. So it's my pleasure being here to discuss national issues.
Yeah. I'm happy to have you too. Later on, we will soon be joining by some of our colleagues who will be joining in a little late. Uh, so if they're hearing us, come on in, guys. It's just an hour show. We're here. Just 1 hour we'll be out of here. Man, what a week it was in Liberia, man. With just sanctions coming from the United States government to just three officials, Liberian officials. What a week! I can imagine if it was just 5 or 10 officials, what it will look like. But this is just three. What do you make up before I even start reading and giving our people the info? Why you all make up about the whole stuff? You think this is scaring the Liberian people or the George Weah led government as to the implication of these sanctions?
Okay, once again, I want to thank you very much. This is a platform that we discuss critical national issues. We discuss issues that relates to Liberia and the rest of the world. Recently, the Liberian government, not the Liberian government, the U.S. government, through the Treasury Department of the United States of America, placed a sanction on three key government officials of Liberia to be named Cephas, who is the government prosecutor, and Bill Trawe, who happens to be the managing director of the Freeport of Maria, the gateway to economy, without the president's special
No, man, you're breaking out a
office
little bit.
assistant.
You're breaking out a little bit. Can you adjust your mic maybe a little bit?
Oh, you getting me now?
Yeah, much better. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. And the president's special secretary, in presence of Nathaniel Fallow Mangil, who was recently sanctioned by the U.S. government. In this have been a trending issue in Liberia. Most of the media outlets have been discussing this. Panelists, even the government officials, even the president, they have with this information and to reach him. And, even though we have not heard any official statement from the government pending the suspension, the suspension that the government gave to the three individuals, but we have not heard any other official comment from the government besides the suspension letter that was issued to the three key government officials.
Yeah, and,
And when
and
I
so
start,
hold on, Jasper. Let me hold you right there because you're going ahead of me. As a matter of fact, so before we even proceed with our opinion of what's happening, I want to be able to have our audience have a full understanding of what it looks like, what's been happening, right? I want to make
yeah.
sure that I read that for our audience consumption. And the reading goes like this, which has to do with the sanctions. The
Mm-hmm.
United States Department of the Treasury Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, designated three Liberian government officials for their involvement in public corruption in Liberia. The Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Nathaniel McGill, Solicitor General Samuel Serenius Cephas, and the Managing Director of the National Port Authority, Bill Trawe, are designated pursuant to Executive Order 13818, which builds upon the implements the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act and targets perpetrators of serious human rights abuse and corruption. These individuals are being designated for being foreign persons who are current government officials who are responsible for or complicit in or who have directly or indirectly engaged in corruption, including the misappropriation of state assets, the expropriation of private assets for personal gain, corruption related to government contracts, or the extraction of natural resources, or bribery. So, in response to the U.S. Department of the Treasury Office of Foreign Assets Control, President George Weah suspended the three officials with immediate effect to enable them to face investigation. If the investigation affirms the U.S. allegations, they could be held for violating several provisions of the penal law of Liberia, including bribery, extortion, and fraud. Right? So the penal law, if they have these people are investigated and they are found guilty, that is what they will be guilty of breaking the penal law, violating, which has to do with bribery, extortion, and fraud. With this understanding, we can now focus on the real issues, right? So the real
Yeah.
issues, these are just excerpts from our colleagues up there front page as well, just to give them credit for that piece. But we want to be able to know, with the extortion and the expansion of these guys, the impact that it is having on the government, on the George Weah-led government. These are some of the things. We want to be able also to discuss the role of the opposition when it comes to this. What have they been saying? What are they saying? What is the opposition stance as well? How does this affect not just the George Weah-led government, but how does this affect the citizens? These are the president's inner kitchen table people. When you're in your kitchen, you're in your house, you're sitting around the table, every little food, every little crumbs that goes on the table, these are the people that sit around the table to eat with you. That's how it is. That's the role of Minister Nathaniel McGill, Minister of State. Listen to it. Minister of State for Presidential Affairs. Right? I mean, that a man is responsible for all the affairs of the president. That's the man who's responsible for all the affairs of the government of George Weah. Being labeled, being accused, or sanctioned by the US government of corruption. And this is the same guy that we saw a video circulating online defending this corruption thing. He didn't know that sanctions were on the way. Now, okay, some of us, we can steal our money and then we build horses. At least we're not taking the money out of the country, right? The people say, yeah. Can you imagine that? Is that a good moral defense for the lack of accountability of government assets, of assets of the country? That, okay, it's okay to steal as long as I'm building it right here. I can't take it somewhere else. It's okay. That's a validation. That is what it implies, right? So his own confession of stealing is right there. And whether when a big man steals, they say misappropriation or embezzlement. When a little man steals, they say he stole, he's a thief. But misappropriation, embezzlement, stealing, it's all the same thing. We're not trying to put it here. This is what we do here at Talk TV Media Network, to break it down for the people to understand what is happening in the country, right? This is what we need to do as a network. We have to make sure, what is the role of this government? What is the George Weah? Is suspension enough? Are these people being suspended with paid salaries? Because sometimes here in the US, when you are suspended, you can still collecting your lating at the end of the month, right? That's suspension. And there is certainty that you could come back. They could reinstate you. There is a period to suspend you. So, was it a good idea to suspend them, or will it be a much better idea to fire them?
Most of the Liberian, mostly the opposition, communities and other civil societies are calling on the Liberian government to immediately dismiss the three officials. And in fact, one of the problems many Liberians have been having is, the dismiss or the suspension, and was not detailed. In some suspension, you detail your suspension. That is by restricting them, whether they will receive a salary or not, right? Whether they will still have access to other benefits, because these are government officials. These are officials of government. And I believe that they still have in possession some government properties, some government vehicles.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And I believe that they still getting their allowances. So in most of the Liberians are saying that, look, this suspension, I don't think is enough. Either you detail this suspension, or you expel them once and for all. But 4 hours before coming to the show, here's what Nathaniel Mangio posted on his Facebook page, his official Facebook page. He said, "Thanks for the immense support we continue to receive from everyone as we go through this period. I am grateful. Thank you." That was all he said on his official Facebook page 4 hours ago. And Mayu, the suspension brought in freezings of access. And quite recently, we reported on our network that the UBA bank in Accra, Ghana, seized a $4 million from Nathaniel Mangio. So it implies that these people are then doing things that the government of the people are feeling it. Just imagine, recently he went to Bon County. Nathaniel Mangio went to Bon County. And then he said, like what you're saying, yes, it's better for us to see, and then, in our country. Right. And even Thomas Fowler made a statement in Weah district in Lofa County during his acceptance when they petitioned him into Lofa County. He used that same remark. But do you know what's going on now, Mr. Sen?
No, tell me.
When I went to cover the president program in District 5, where Thomas Fowler is the incumbent, when I went there, the internal minister went to make a comment on behalf of the government, and then he wanted to say things that the government, was not even in the interest of the government. Look, here's my president saying, the president erecting checkpoint, making correction, saying that, look, this is not we meant, and this is what we meant. And so he was shamed. You know what I mean? You're talking about somebody, the person sitting there, and they call your attention and say, look, man, this is not what we meant, this is not what we discussed, this is not what to be said. It went to my mind as about if President Weah were taking actions like this by erecting checkpoints whenever things are going on wrong, or people are making statements that are not in the interest of the government. And then you come up and say, look, this is not what it is. This is what it is. Then people will take you to be a serious person. But right now, with the sanction, he himself, all of the comments he's making, I'm not saying that's you. That presidential voice, I'm not saying it with Indian.
but the thing here is, Jasper. The thing here is, I want you to know, because you mentioned about Serena Safos, $4 million allegation, right? That it was whatever frozen in Ghana, UBA Bank, right?
Mangil.
Yeah, Miguel. And I read an article that he responded to that he doesn't have any foreign bank account. He debunked that, that accusation. And he said that if anybody can find it, let them bring it out. But he doesn't have any foreign account. That was one of the articles, that he spoke of. And so our plea here is the UBA bank should be able to know that, because when you open your account with UBA bank, we have a primary account holder, and then we have beneficiaries to that account.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So if it is not in his name and he is the beneficiary, it's easy. The US government is very easy to detect that, to find that. Very easy, right? And the UBA bank will be able to tell us too. Because sanctions, according to the Magnitsky Act, if these sanctions are on him, on these guys, they have the right to freeze their assets. Because the thing is, when this guy's got in government, what the general public is looking at is, if you ain't had a house, or you only have one house, you got in government, and the government is paying you, assumingly, $100,000 a month. Let's say $100,000 a month. We know what, as Liberians, what $100,000 would do in Liberia, right? But if we see you all over the place building, massively, undertaking $1 million projects and stuff, and there's no accountability, this is what we are talking about. These are the things that is robbing Liberia, because Liberia has so much resources to the point that we can equitably distribute the wealth of Liberia to every citizen. But if a handful of people are taking advantage of the resources of the country for their own self-aggrandizement, right, or their own self-benefits, and leaving the hospitals languishing, people languishing, no better hospitals, no good roads, no good safe drinking water. If your child is sick, they take their child to a foreign country, the most prestigious hospital in the world. But the people who vote them in power, they're sleeping outside hospitals with no medical treatment. These are the things that we are talking about. This is why Talk TV Media Network is the voice for the voiceless. And these are the things that we'll continue to preach until we can see light, for light to shine in Liberia. Right? Corruption, accountability. If the George Weah, I see this as where the mistake started was, if the George Weah led government was to audit the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government, then we know what they inherited going forward, but they didn't. So this is their first mistake. This is where they erred. And they were okay with that. Right? And then they got in power as if they will get rid of corruption. Now we see charges and sanctions coming on the government for corruption's sake.
And they did not have been on Ellen sanction. How
do we handle that? This is alarming, because these top officials are not guys to play with in the country, right?
No.
Serena Safos, he's the chief solicitor general for the country.
Yeah.
You know what that means? If this man don't take a case to argue, it will not get on the docket. So as he's suspended, nothing, everything is at a standstill. That's the effect it's having on the nation. And who knows where he has, because he's being accused of embezzlement, of extortion, assets as well. Who knows which account or where he has his own assets and money. This is just if they allege not a 4 million is true, They allege, watch my lips, they allege 4 million is true for one individual. What about the other individuals? And what about the other individuals that are running the government who are not on the sanctions?
Yeah.
Right? Government is checks and balances. And that brings me into question the role of the legislature. Where is our legislature? Where are our senators, our representatives? What have they done to keep the checks and balances of government? The Justice Department are those two entities just toothless bulldogs being pulled by the executive branch of government?
The legislature is there to just collect their salaries and benefits and walk away. For me, I can tell anyone. For me, I don't follow politicians. I don't trust politicians because they are business people. They come today, they say, "Look, we will do this for you," and they give you a little a little, and later they take more from you. They enjoy from you. They come back again and tell you the same thing, and we elect them. So it's just like a business. If you buy today and the goods finish, the person come again and say,
Right?
"Look, I need another thing." So for me, I don't even trust them. You are talking about the legislature. The most father from the legislature, and he boasts of corruption. So you tell me, what do you expect others to do? And he is a waste, means, and finance on a committee in the Senate. So what do you expect for him to do? He also boasting that yes, the student we are, and he one person who have huge investment in Liberia. He has a lot of investment in Liberia. If you see the duplex, the university this guy built, Thomas Fuller University, you won't take it for granted. You won't take it for granted. Even though he has been in politics in the parliament, in the Liberian parliament for over 12 to 13 years, but that duplex is worth audit. So the people are coming out saying, look, I don't think the suspension is enough. Let these people be suspended and turn themselves over for investigation. I think this would be the best thing. And myself, I'm suggesting that it should be. They should go for investigation. Look, allegations, if you want to exonerate yourself from allegation, leave your office, let other people take in their identical office and go for investigation and see how best you can exonerate yourself from that identical allegation.
Yeah, because
Other than that,
you're so right, because this is a character issue. If you are so
yeah.
concerned, serious about your character, this is a label. It's a label that is tinted now. Your name is tinted, and
Oh, yeah.
and as a lawyer, Serena Cephas understands that, and he understands that fully. If they don't step up, they don't fight this. This is a label, man. It's just like when you wear a white shirt, Ray or touch it. Yeah, Ray or get on your white shirt. That's how
Yeah.
that's how serious this is on your character. And if you are serious about your character, you will fight, you will prove yourself, you will come to the Liberian people and say, I relinquish my position until this is investigated fully for the benefit of the country and the Liberian people.
Exactly so.
That is what you do first and foremost as a good citizen, not waiting to be fired or suspended.
Yeah.
Right? You
In
step
fact,
up. You say, because you know very well the weight of Uncle Sam, America, when they're coming on you.
no, don't joke.
Every Liberian that has been in government knows the weight of Uncle Sam. Right? We understand the weight of Uncle Sam, what happens, what it did to Samuel Doe. We understand the weight of Uncle Sam, what it did to Charles Taylor.
Oh, yes.
All of those political leaders that have been in office, and they all have come and passed, they're gone. Government is not forever. It doesn't stay. You're not in power forever. And if you choose to do the right thing, you live on. If you don't, and your people suffers. The people that love you suffer. The country suffer. Right?
You know,
Can you
you
imagine $4 million, 4 million United States dollars? If that is true, one person, and it could be more than that though.
and one person was prosecuted for $1 million.
Like the guy, the minister who was the general managing director that works at the Freeport of Monrovia, Bill Torway. You know how many millions of dollars comes through that port?
It's a gateway to economy.
The gateway to the Liberian economy, the port. Because some of us understands that because we used to ship with a lot of shipment that we did through that port. We know how much money is being collected at that port.
And how expensive the port is.
Yeah.
To ship.
We know that, we understand that, we spend a lot of money even when you ship one container. How much more 2, 3, 4, or 10 containers? And business, there's so much business that pass through that port.
Yeah.
And a lot of bribery is taking place too, on top of it. Can you imagine the Lebanese community, their involvement with shipment and businesses? You know, these are the things we're talking about here. If corruption is dealt with at a certain level, I'm not saying get rid of it. You can get rid of it, because that's just like you don't even believe what you say. If you say that, that's an understatement to get rid of corruption in Liberia. But if one could minimize it, corruption in Liberia, if one could minimize corruption in Liberia at a certain level, you know, there is so much to benefit. So much. The Liberians will benefit as a nation. And so, before I bring my colleague in, welcome, Mr. Pakio. I wanted to read give a little bit, because part of my concern too is what is the opposition saying when it comes to this news that we all heard over the weekend, right? Here is what the ANC political leader Alexander Cummings saying. Right? He said that the ANC leader, Mr. Alexander Cummings, says the character, image, and values of the Minister of State, Nathaniel McGill, are a direct reflection of President George Weah, and therefore lack the moral authority to fight corruption in his government. Mr. Cummings said in 5 years, if the president was unaware of McGill's excesses, then he is incompetent. But if he knew and failed to act, then the president is a partner, enabler, and facilitator of the stealing. And this is where I'll bring you in. Max.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Let me say how are you to Jasper as well. It's good. Sorry for coming late. I had an emergency. But at least the next 20 minutes I can make any contribution. Look, I think Mr. Cummins hit the nail on the head, and the language, the choice of words were absolutely in place, and I commend him for that. You know, when you ask the question as to what the opposition doing, I think they've been speaking. The opposition as well. I was in Liberia for the past 23 months. 23 months I was there.
Yeah.
I follow them. I monitor them, and they have also been speaking. They have been sending messages that, you know, a leader or an individual who's supposed to be a leader, when they listen to such a message and take it in, they will build upon it. Not only the international community, because even the ambassador, not only he alone, but even the European Union, these guys have been coming face to face with these people and telling them the truth. You need to change your scope of operation. You need to look after your people. I mean, how many times do they have to be reminded? So the opposition have been speaking, and I must applaud the ANC leader for very, very strong worded choice in responding to this particular sanctions and thing. I must applaud him. Indeed, I agree with him as well. If Mr. Weah tells me that he didn't know about the this guy's involvement into corruption, then I'll have a serious problem with him as well. That he himself, he's an incompetent leader. If he definitely knew about it and he failed to do something about it, it's a compliance as well. So obviously, he himself, one day, he will have to face questions with respect to corruption in Liberia. But I think the opposition have been speaking, and they spoke well on this particular case as well.
Awesome. And to buttress that, to be fair, that was the ANC, and right here I have another reaction by the Unity Party, because that's another larger opposition party there that sent me this. Unity Party has strongly condemned the cosmetic suspension of Weah's three cronies, threatening to join efforts with opposition parties alike to stage mass citizens' action for institutionalized corruption after facilitated by the presidency. The party's decisions comes in the wake of Mr. Weah's continuous patronage and expressed support for corruption and abuse of public resources by his cronies. And the statement went on. So yeah, the Unity Party as well has strongly condemned the act. And then what is a little bit nervous here is that is making me to continue to ask these questions, and that goes to both of you: is are there more sanctions to come for more people, for more political leaders?
Just back on me, I'll end it.
You know,
Uh,
do we have more in the tracks coming? Because, or is this just a warning? Or could the George Weah stop what is to come?
yeah, but if you carefully read that the press release by the Treasury Department, with the signs and symptoms, we know that more to come. And even I listened to René CA, the CEO of Front Africa, when he appeared on OKFM, and he was quizzed. And one thing he said he was even surprised for this sanction to be held sooner, in this identical month. What we are expecting is in December, but for the U.S. government to be fast in releasing the first three, is shocking to him. But he said, and he made it clear that this is not all, more to come, and the one that will come now, it will, if the government doesn't take time, it will break all the arms of the government. So if the government can do well, but now I believe they should do their background investigation with immediate effect. Those guys who to be sanctioned in the next coming months should resign. This is not a good name for you as an individual. Sanction is not good. You
But Mark,
resign.
hold on. Let me hold your thought right there. And this goes to and to both of you too. But Matt, one would say, because we've been hearing these from the corridors of other opposition of the very government supporters, those who are against these sanctions, that this is all political, so they can handicap the George Weah run for 2023. That this is all there is. That the U.S. government is not even aiding the opposition to give the opposition an upper hand when it comes to 2023. And that is what they intend to do. That is what they want to do to the George Weah-led government. What do you make up of all those insinuations?
Well, look, insinuation have to be they have to be made, because the statement is a very strong statement was made. Strong accusations were made. You can rule that out. But let me come to this. Sanctions and more sanctions will come. And immediately on the 17th, actually, I wrote a letter on behalf of my organization as a justice advocates. And in our letter, we even told the American government through the ambassador that although these decisions are long overdue, however, we commended them. So, I mean, with respect to what Regnis CS said,
Mm-hmm.
actually, for me personally, I had 3 meetings with them between 2020 and 2021 with the political with the political officer at the U.S. embassy. 3 meetings with that gentleman, and there are a lot of issues that we put on their table, and one of them was the fight against corruption. So obviously, Sam, I even thought that by the early part of the first quarter of this year, which is between January, February, and March, I even thought that the list were going to come up.
Wow.
So that's why I said it was even belated, but we accept it. However, uh, between now and a couple of maybe a couple of weeks or so, I can only say this is not something I'm going to wait until December. No, more names are coming, and this time around, a lot of women will be involved as well.
Oh wow. You saying that there is still another list to come, and on that
Yeah,
list, women will be included.
women that are in power will be included. Lawmakers will be included. Sam, this is not something that the U.S. government is going to wait to until January next year. No, 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 no. And if you say again that with respect to what you just said about the CDC is insinuating that it is the work of the opposition, that's a
Mm-hmm.
blatant lie. Come on, man. The science they themselves wrote the science on the walls long time when they came to power. The choice of language they even use, and it was captured in the news. It was captured in the newspaper. This
Right.
is our time. This is our time. I mean, everybody, including members of the diplomatic corps, they had their own interpretation of this is our time. And the language was used. It was also followed by what? The scene of the president buying a private jet, the scene of the president himself building communion houses, or becoming an real estate agent, in Liberia. The scene of the president himself building an entertainment center just to go and have fun and things. I mean, the signs have been written on the wall. You remember? I mean, the donor agencies, they came together once upon a time and even said that the government went in our cover and took our money.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. Was that an insinuation from the opposition? No. They were creating the signs for everybody to know that they are doing the wrong thing. What's about the billions the billions of dollars that they ordered to print and things? Liberian people have been complaining ever since that the money is in the country, but we're not seeing it. We can only see it at a certain point when there are events or activities going on, and in the hands of politicians that are in the ruling party. All of that, they're not good sign there. Also, nobody have to tell you that this administration is even more corrupt than the past administration. No, nobody can tell you that. So I don't want to believe that. I don't even want to accept anything from any of them that will say, "Oh, that the opposition." Like I think McGill responded like that as well. Even the president himself, that the opposition then was not opposition. You yourself doing the thing.
Before we go to Jasper, what do you make up of, now that you talked about McGill, what do you make up of the video that is circulating online when he was having a town hall meeting, that wherein he says, at least some of us will steal money and then we'll build houses here. Some of them, when they steal, they take it out of the country. And when we die, the houses will stay right here. Yes. What do you make up of that?
I felt
You,
guilty. I'm not that close to him. Once in a while, I send a text message or so. When I heard that, I went, what's up? I told you, I said, be better. The thing you said, it will backfire. And not good thing you said. He didn't respond. I just left it like that hanging. Similar to what happened July 26th. I called my brother Jefferson Koji and I told him what I needed to tell him. Those choice of words of brother Miguel, I'm not going to disown him, he's still my brother, were wrong. Especially expecting the fact, you are alluding the fact that indeed I am corrupting. But the corruption I'm doing, you will see it visible. Even though you won't touch it, but you'll see it visible at least. Come on, man. Come on. How will you go in the middle of Liberia and you're standing there, the children are still going to school in the villages, they're sitting on planks, they're sitting on bare floor. And you go tell the grandparents that I will build a house here. When the children grow tomorrow, even when I die, when they're passing around, they will see the farmhouse. They say, oh yeah, we'll get a farmhouse, beautiful house in our town. Amen. That was a huge mistake. And I can tell you that he is regretting to the least why he made that statement. But ain't he getting a backslash? Today he posted within 30 minutes a Sam when he posted to say thank you to all his supporters and things. Go read on his post. I'm feeling sorry for him. Everybody is negative in response and whatsoever. And I just went and told you, I said, people, you should have waited small. You shouldn't have posted this thing here. The responses are not welcoming.
Maybe he's
Sam, he looked for it.
Maybe he's testing the political waters. And Jasper, come in from your take from that end. These guys with the sanction of these three guys, and with rumors circulating that more sanctions are to come. Do you foresee a second term of a George Weah led government with this? If this ever happens, can he survive it?
What I can say, and I can safely say, it will be hard, it will be tedious for him to retain in his presidency because, as you're aware, the sanction hasn't ended yet. So who knows whether the next person they will target might be him or might be somebody close to him or might be a financier. That is, the person he's so trustworthy in this government, the person who he gave 100%, the CRC, the struggle, who happens to be his final minister, Samuel Weah. So what if his arm? Because I believe that is President Weah's arm. If that arm has been broken, and other arms, been attached to that being broken, so I see it to be a very difficult, thing for him to be re-elected.
Yeah, that will be. If the likes like Samuel Weah are handicapped and on that list, man, it will be tough. What do you think?
No, let me tell you, the likes of Samuel Weah. If Samuel Weah, because from 2000 from 2018 to 2019, Liberians been crying that Samuel Weah should eliminate that position. In fact, the President Weah should come up and dismiss Samuel Weah. But President Weah have come out and said that Samuel Weah is his CRC. He is the goalkeeper. He is everything. In fact, he created the best minister ever. So if his best minister am being broken with the next sanction that coming, I see his re-election to be something difficult for him. Very, very difficult.
Folks, there you have it. This is Talk TV Media Network. This is how we talk it here. We talk the issues that concerns you. We talk the issues that you don't talk about. We are our voice for the voiceless. And this is what we do on every Saturday here at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Those of you watching in Liberia, the diaspora, welcome to the show. Share the link. Follow us. Be a part of the show. We talk issues of political concern, issues that concerns you, the masses, the people. Liberia, Mama Liberia, the country that we all love, the country that we all came from. Nobody owns Liberia but all of us. more than the other. All of us own Liberia. And I'm going to take you, Marks. This goes, I think, both of you as well. During the course of the week, we've seen President George Weah doing a district tour while these sanctions are ongoing. You know, with the hit of this, we're saying he's visited a couple of districts and stuff. And what's your observation and the message that he's carrying?
Well,
Okay, coming.
he is entitled to do his liberty to consult his people or to meet his people. Except that for me personally, I see his move as somebody who is campaigning, and absolutely, it is wrong. But before I analyze that properly, Sam, the next session we have three uh, non-Liberians that are associates of President Weah. That name will be there. We have two Ivorians and one Senegalese. Their name going to be there, and they are going to follow them way in their countries, and they will pay for what they're doing in Liberia, in those forests.
And you're right about it,
And,
man. I not to cut you off. That it can extend out of the borders of Liberia.
yeah. That's what it does. So the message, the intent of the program that he having, say going back to his people and whatsoever, and say whatsoever he want to say, thank you or so. He had liberty to do it, but then most of the messages that he also preaching there are not messages that a leader is supposed to preach. You don't use the kind of engagement to even threaten your people, or your critics or so. You don't do that as a leader. When you do that, you're setting the bad agenda. I mean, as far as what is happening now in the country is concerned, he just started the tour and this thing came up. He was sitting there when the news came up, when he was told, and he became so perplexed. I thought, in fact, perhaps the following day or two, he was not even going to continue the visit until we have some kind of an emergency cabinet meeting where he will call people and call these guys, and they start to do things. But failure on his part, this thing, it will haunt him, he himself. It's hurting him right now. Again, nobody should lie to you that politically and as an individual as well, a leader, that is not affecting him. You believe it? No, it is. Don't take this particular today visit of the U.S. ambassador today to him.
But one would
to
say,
be
if it's
something good.
affecting him, Max, if it is really, really hurting him and affecting him, then he should take the rightful course of action. As in, okay, you guys are suspended, turn over for investigation, and let the law deal with you.
Yeah. That's why I kept asking the question: whether do we have a financial crimes investigators agency in Liberia? I don't know if we have it. Whether I don't know, they call them FBI people, whether or not I don't know how they call them in Liberia. Say that agency.
FIU.
But now, in a civilized society, but now, Sam, these guys supposed to be in the orange suit. And today, today again, I saw him live on the TV. I'm talking about my girl getting inside from a house, getting in the same car that we bought him with our tax money, that SUV. Why should this man be suspended and stay using government property?
Yeah,
it's wrong.
But that's the question everybody keep asking, because the suspension was not detailed. The people still have access to their benefits. They still have access to all of their luxurious, benefit from government. I believe they still taking their salaries. So I don't think.
Yeah, but that's suspension now. Come on. When they say we use the word suspension, I suspend you. I mean, you still got your late incoming. The government vehicles are not taken away from you. They're not
Yeah, but
firing. A suspension. That means you stay on board. My man, go
Mhm.
sit down. Let deal with 18 here. Maybe when we quiet down, you can come back.
Sam,
Or we're gonna switch you to a different ministry somewhere.
right now, I'm employee of Talk Media TV. If the CEO and the board decide to suspend Max, that suspension, if you have given me a mobile phone to work with, you're going to take it from me.
Oh yes.
If you give me a laptop to work with, you're going to take it off me, because you can't suspend me. Then I continue to engage there on your behalf or on behalf of the institution. So I agree with Jasper. Yes, indeed. Unfortunately, this president they didn't clarify the suspension. Suspension for time indefinite, suspension with our pay and everything and all benefits, suspension that you should turn away all government vehicles. But now I want the GSA to even take a stand. Go to that man and collect all our cars and pack them. You don't have to wait for the president. The president
Yeah, but
said the man is suspended.
the suspension will not be there. So that's the problem. When you talk about suspension, I follow Spoon when this guy was hit by the deputy minister for youth and sport. I think I said do Mr. Do. When Spoon suspended him, that identical day they suspended him, he never had access to Spoon TV. He never had access to Spoon property. And on the show, he ought to be right with Spoon TV. It was taken away from him. I believe
Yeah,
that if
but
he's given a suspension,
see you said, man. I have access now to I have access to the TV, how to go inside and how to do things and whatever. You suspend me, then you stay making me to go inside there. Why if I
go
go
inside
and
it.
do damage to you? I already say I say, okay, I don't think you will bring me by again.
I will take the password from you and disable your account.
That's it.
That's right.
Until everything is sorted, you bring me back. If I come back, I'll come back.
Right.
But you suspend me, you should suspend me with everything.
Wow.
That's one of the things everybody have problem with. Yeah, the suspension will not be
I had to ask like that so that our Liberian people, those listening, will understand what the intricacies, what needs to be done. As in, the man suspended, but he's still enjoying the acquiescence,
the benefit
and the everything that comes along with that position. He's still enjoying that, So and wherein the acting minister is supposed to be actively involved and acting and doing their job right now, I think that's what needs to be done. Yeah, those of us that live in a Western world, like here, you in London, I mean here in the US, definitely that's what takes place. You see how the US government is hard on the former president Donald Trump. They don't play because no man is above the law.
No way.
No way. You are. In fact, what's happening? The former president Donald Trump right now, just to allude to that, is because of that position that he had as president of the United States of America.
That's it.
That is all that's happening. If he was just an ordinary citizen, with what's been happening, it would have been different by now.
Yeah.
It would have been different. So, I mean, no one is above the law. Let the law speak for itself, Mr. President. Let lawmakers, those of you listening to us watching, do your due diligence to the country. Get out of the pockets of these guys. That's it. Man, guys, this 1 hour show, man, it seems like we're going to have to think about it because 1 hour, I just feel like just beginning the show.
I know, yeah.
Because of the
topic.
Yeah.
Y'all have me fire up, man.
That's great.
Fire up. I think we got to get it going. And Joy not even on the show tonight to get it all tuned up. It's just us. So, tomorrow.
One thing
before I give you guys your last comments, right, for our viewing audience, tomorrow I'll be here at 2 p.m. As always, the gospel show. We talk about the gospel show, religious and stuff, but tomorrow we're thinking we might have a little different. there's a fundraiser that the Ngadu Foundation is geared towards, and for our viewing audience, we want to be able through that foundation to give 50 scholarships this year to Liberian students, and we want to do that. If we can think it, we know it's doable. If we can put a smile on the faces of parents and those students, we want to do that transparently on this, on this platform, so Liberians and others watching will be able to see that we can do it as a people, because if a penny of your donation is going somewhere towards this cause, you will see it, who we gave that money to, which child it went to, the name of that child, the photo of that child. We all can sit here on this platform and celebrate as a people. And this is what we want to do. And my hats up to you, Max. During your birthday, I saw what you did out there, man. That was awesome. That was great. You touch a lot. You touch my heart when it comes to those disabled. I know I could see your heart. That's your heart desire. That's where your heart is, passion.
Yeah, you are very appreciative, though.
With this project, with this campaign we have coming up for the Ngadu Foundation, you and I will probably have to talk behind the scene and see how we can tie in, to certain things to be able to work for a common goal. Because sometimes two heads are better than one. Then, as in one person, you just out there, you're fighting it, as in bringing, a general handful of support to be able to make so much impact in the lives of people. But I'm gonna give you guys a chance. Let me go with junior brother, then big brother will end up. What's your parting comments, man? The show, the 1 hour over.
Yeah, I want to say thank you very much. Those of you who
Number one, your lighting is so bad. We cannot see your face. Only your white shirt we can see.
no, they simplify that Lebron is moving to another level. Those who believe those who believe that Lebron is developing, so this can relate. For those of you who
That statement is not going to hold, because right there, maybe you're not developing in your room, because I can call another Liberian a bright right now. A
look,
bright. If I
Uncle
call
Sam,
my game play right now, I can call it right now on the screen. They play the electricity 24/7.
CEO, I'm gonna show you what you're saying. It might be true, but if you're talking about a larger city in America where you live, and I believe you are not living in a city, but yet still you have access to affordable and quality electricity.
I live in a city.
I know, yeah, but United States, United States of America, where you live is not a city of that identical country. So where you live, you have affordable and quality electricity. So I don't want to dwell on that. So I want to say those of you who follow Talk TV Media Network, this is the platform that you can trust. This is the platform that you can follow. This is a platform that you can always log to get affordable, quality, and others free, fair, and balanced information. Hit us in Liberia, hit us in the United States, hit us in UK, and we will be able to do whatever you want Talk TV Media to do for you. Thank you very much. I'm Jasper F. Andrews, live from Liberia, as you can see at the back of
You
me here.
you can't see the man. You say you can see me. I gotta take care of
Okay,
that.
I'll leave it.
I gotta buy some of Chinese lead. I will be hanging over you there.
Okay, thank you. I'll leave it.
Okay. All right, Mark.
Yeah. Well, guys, thanks. It was a great show again today. And thanks for always bringing those topics that are nearest to the citizens of Liberia heart, and for us to digest them and interpret them well. It's always a pleasure. We hope that our people that are following are listening. We also have to spread a message that we normally put up here or share from here. So thank you and have a very great weekend, brother.
Yeah,
See you.
it's always a pleasure to have you guys on the show, man. It's always a pleasure.
Okay.
For
All right. Bye bye. Tomorrow we'll follow.
out there. Those of you watching, thank you. And you have a pleasant evening. Those in Liberia, those here in the diaspora, in other foreign countries, have a pleasant evening and go to church. Tomorrow is Sunday. If you cannot go make it to church tomorrow, you can make it at Talk TV Media Network at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is 3 Eastern Time, and that will be 8 o'clock Liberian time. You can hit it right here, and we'll bring you what you missed in church. Right here with me tomorrow at Talk TV Media Network. So join the show. That's how we roll. We pray and hope, as my last comment, that Mama Liberia, the love of our leaders will transcend beyond them, and that the suffering masses of Liberia will benefit. We're just praying, and we're all just working just to make sure that a little bit of life is experienced by majority of the Liberians. That is my prayer every day. I'm not a political person. I'm a business person. That's all I do. And that's what I would do. Politics is not my thing. But social justice, social causes is what I would try and stand for. Because I am not better than the man out there in the street. We all are created in the image of God. So our sisters, when one of our brother is suffering or a sister is suffering, that becomes our suffering, all of us. So let's do it. We can do better as Liberians. Let's build this country. Until then, don't do what I do. Do what God wants you to do.
I'm a freedom fighter.
Oh, I'm on you.
I'm a freedom fighter.
I'm a freedom fighter.